Now, for those of you who've been watching my videos for God knows however long, you probably know by now I hate forced identity politics in my media. And it seems that Bond 25 is heavily pushing identity politics, possibly because they realise that Bond 25 isn't written well, doesn't have anything going for it. So they realise that in order to get people talking about the film, instead of marketing how good it is, how well written it is, how the characters are in regards to their traits, personalities, writing quality, they have to focus on marketing identity politics. And from that, we now have Lashana Lynch being forced onto the front pages of every article out there. The people in charge of Bond 25 know for a fact it is going to fail. So in order to nickel and dime as many people as they can so that they can get something out of this film, they are trying to market everything they can. And they know the political climate. They know there are lots of people online who like to complain about representation not being the focus nowadays, because that's how the far lefties are. And a lot of these Hollywood types know this. And that is why this film is being marketed so heavily in regards to identity politics. That is all they have. Know that for a fact. And how I know this, most people say that they know it, but I actually know this because I was offered a job on Bond 25. I have friends who were on the film set the day that James Bond's actor, Daniel Craig, was caught in an explosion and one of the crew was also injured. This film is failing. Grace Jones doesn't want to be a part of the film. She didn't get enough lines, it was just a cameo which is used to nickel and dime people. If Grace Jones is in this, it makes people want to watch the film. And the producers, the writers, the directors, all the people in charge know that. They are trying so heavily to get people to want to watch this. It's amazing. But I will start with this article, and I have other articles I've found, and in fact this Yahoo article references the main one, the one by Daily Mail. But I just wanted to say that quick rant, just for you to understand what is happening in Hollywood right now. Bond 25 is far from the first to do this. You've seen it with Ghostbusters, you saw it with Captain Marvel. It's going to carry on happening again and again, until people stop falling for it. But anyway, on with the article. 007 will be played by a black woman in Bond 25. Wow, it's almost as if that's the only good thing about this film. Ooh. Rumours have been circling for some time that Daniel Craig could be ready to leave the character of James Bond behind, prompting speculation that the next iteration of the character will be played by a black actor, with Idris Elba as the most popular choice. For obvious reasons, I won't even go into that. Some have even said that a more modern version of the character would be played by a black woman, and that is actually happening. Sort of. The thing is, they can't actually just market this quote-unquote woman as James Bond because James Bond is male. They can't exactly change that. However, thanks to the fact that 007 is not a character, more a title for a character, I guess they could make that happen. But forget making a completely new concept, forget making a new production name and type. You have to market the 007 name because that's all you have. You don't have good writing to market your characters and your films and your projects with. No, you have to market these original things that are based upon meritocracy and then force your politics into it because that's all you have. Moving on. According to an insider, the upcoming Bond 25 will see Craig's secret agent retiring to the Caribbean, with black British actress Lashana Lynch playing a younger spy who takes over his iconic 007 codename. I'll start with this right now. First of all, why is the black British part so important? Simply, an actress playing a younger spy is enough to market it, right? No. You have to force the identity of the character down to serve your political agenda, but I digress. The second is, why not use a 008? Or hell, trigger nostalgia in the older people who watch the show and use 0013, who was an actual female character, albeit blonde, but there's nothing wrong with the race being changed in my eyes for this, which has been a concept that has been explored in the past. The fundamental flaw of this concept is that 007 is meant to be played by James Bond, and James Bond has to be male. The reason Idris Elba was considered was because him being dark-skinned doesn't affect the character at all. The character isn't innately white, but he is innately male. That is part of his character. And they know this, which is why they are saying, no, we're not completely retconning James Bond, but to some extent you're retconning the title that is literally linked to his name. So in essence, not literally, you are trying to retcon James Bond's character. Just be honest with that. All the other iterations haven't been retired. No, they just start off anew. It's essentially you trying to do what they did with other productions. Just look at Ghostbusters, prime example. But this one changes a fundamental part of a character, the main character, or characters for Ghostbusters. But whatever. Forget using the fact that there are other 00 agents that can be used for this identity politics thing that you could use, which would not harm the 007 property, but could still prop up this other person who could take up the mantle. Forget that. Forget having originality. No, you have to push this agenda. I'm a firm believer that remakes are getting really dull, which is why I don't really have that much of an interest in James Bond as a franchise anyway. However, at least have the decency to retcon the previous timeline and start anew. Instead of going out of your way to retcon James Bond in the same film and then push this black female one. It's so offensive. And no, not offensive to white males or whatever, because that's not the problem. The problem isn't the fact that it's a black person or a woman even. The problem is the politics. That's what's messing it up. They will market it to pro-black people or pro-ethnic minorities or quote-unquote oppressed people. They will market it to those people. And these people, because they feel they have to, will cheer and celebrate and say, yay, black female person, not realizing that instead of making a completely unique character, a unique film franchise for this black person to take on, you have to steal it from another property that had another ethnic race or whatever in it. And you're happy with that? And I'm talking in a hypothetical right now. You people are happy with taking the sloppy seconds. You're happy with that. Have you forgotten productions like The Princess and the Frog, where they actually make the character completely new and the person is black from the start? The character wasn't white and then you change it into black? You know? There was none of that. Black Panther, another prime example. And that film's writing wasn't that great either, but at least it was a unique character. You know? At least the child was unique. But you guys are happy taking sloppy seconds. Here's a hypothetical. Just close your eyes and think for a second. It's Friday night. You and your best friend need a night out. So you go out to a place. Let's say hypothetically you're in London for the night. And you want to go out to you want to go listen to some live music. Let's say you go to Troy Bar, right? Nice environment. Drinks are not that expensive. You want to have a nice trendy place to go to, right? You and your mate goes to this place. And then you meet this stunning girl or bloke, whatever you're into. And this person, unfortunately, likes your friend more. So you not being an asshole, or cock blocker, whatever, or pussy blocker, you step aside and you let this person and your friend get off. Now they go back to your hotel room or to their flat or wherever they're staying, and they do the thing. Alright? They get down and dirty. Do it every which way, every position, every activity, mouths included. But then next week you go. Your mate's gone back to their place or they're unable to come out this Friday. And you see the same person. And this person's like, I regretted it. Or if it's a guy, I regret it. I wish I picked you. I didn't realize your friend was a player or a hoe or an asshole, whatever. So they put it on you and then you say, okay. But you still smell the dick from this person's mouth or the pussy from this person's mouth that belongs to your best friend. You had their way with this person the last week, or let's make it more relevant, the last day. But you're fine with doing that. You're fine taking the sloppy seconds. This guy or girl got deep-throated or had pussy all in their mouth and you can smell it still. This pussy or dick belonged to your friend and that smell is in the mouth that you are tonguing right now. And you're fine with taking the sloppy seconds like that. Think of it that way. You're happy with smelling the dick from your best mate on this girl's mouth. And you're going to tongue this girl. This girl's still got the residue from the guy's cum in the mouth. And you're gonna happily kiss that? My phone just picked the perfect time to ring. I couldn't have planned a better time for someone to message me. You nasty motherfuckers. You're happy with that. It's taking sloppy seconds. Ugh. Oh, Jesus. Let's move on. I hope this analogy got the point across. In quotes, there is a pivotal scene at the start of the film where M says, "Come in, 007. And in walks Lashana, who is black, beautiful, and a woman, they told Daily Mail. It's a popcorn dropping moment. Bond is still Bond, but he has been replaced as 007 by this stunning woman. First of all, why is the fact that the person is black, beautiful, and a woman, for that fact, such a huge point? Unless that's all you have. I mean, beauty is subjective, so I will ignore that. Usually, most people market the fact that the person is well written, but no, they have to market objective traits, nothing that can be changed by the character or an individual, but they have to market objective things, and I'll include attractiveness in this, that people have no control over, just to sell this film. And the problem is, so many people are going to fall for it. Even with people like myself, will not stop the sales for this. And what this will do is it will make people who are making films in Hollywood think to themselves, wow, perhaps instead of writing something good, maybe all we need to do is get lots of politics that are popular involved. That will work, that will trick them. Bond, of course, is sexually attracted to the new female 007 and tries his usual seduction tricks, but is baffled when they don't work on a brilliant young black woman who basically rolls her eyes at him and has no interest in jumping into bed. Well, certainly not at the beginning. Yeah, because that's how it usually works with men who aren't overtly idiots and aloof. The stereotypical alpha male, and how I present it is there's two types. There's aggressive alphas and then there's more passive alphas. The problem is 007 is a passive alpha male, not an aggressive one. So this doesn't really work. Essentially, this just means that this woman has just been a cunt, because even when a guy is being confident and attractive, this girl will just roll her eyes and dismiss it, because that's empowering. It's empowering to reject guys that you find attractive. Because I'm a strong, independent woman, I don't need no man. Despite stealing a franchise away from traditionally male characters. But let's forget that, alright? You can smell its agenda a mile off. And I assume what's going to happen is they're going to make Bond shill and become a bit more submissive just to win over this woman, which is completely unrealistic, because I'm pretty sure every guy in the friend zone who tries to grovel their way into pussy doesn't usually succeed, but they have an agenda to push. Fuck realism, am I right? The Insider added that the Bond girls, a phrase coined to describe the female characters of the franchise, has been replaced by Bond woman. Oh my god. Proves my point. They are pushing their identity politics so much. What does the Bond girl, Bond woman thing have to do with the quality of the product? This shows they have nothing with this film. There's been a lot of talk about whether or not Bond is relevant now because of who he is and the way he treats women. I mean, he doesn't exactly treat women bad. He just stands his ground, doesn't take any crap, and focuses on what's important. No, that's a bad man. A good man panders to women and does everything that he can to make their lives easier while making his own life inconvenient. Yeah, because this agenda only suits certain people when it suits them. In their minds, this is advantageous because at the moment it's politically acceptable to focus solely on females and on ethnic minorities than it is to just make good products. Let me just quickly Google Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Is this the droid from I thought so, this is amazing. I think that's funny. The co-writer of Bond 25 is the woman who played L337. The annoying... that explains so fucking much. And now she's also the co-writer. The agendas pushed in this are so strong and now so much clearer. Oh my god. So Phoebe Waller-Bridge said this. This is the woman who played L3, that very social justice type droid in Solo: A Star Wars Story. Let me just remind you of that, so you understand where they're coming from. The writer of pop culture phenomenon Philippe, I've never heard of any of these. He was brought in to tighten up the script on Bond 25. In other words, the woman who was brought in to push identity politics in this film because they realised they have nothing else to offer. Not realising that this woman doesn't have anything to offer either, but just because she's a strong independent woman who can allegedly write things well in regards to identity politics, which is all they need right now to really sell this film. That's all they need. I think she's absolutely relevant now. Ugh. The franchise has just got to grow. No, it doesn't. Make something new, you twat. Stop relying on the name Bond. This is why your other shit is just unknown. Your Amazing Spy series, Killing Eve, no one has heard of. Let's be honest. People have only heard of Bond. So the Bond name doesn't need to get bigger. It's big enough. I need to make something new and make it work. Oh, wait. My writing isn't good. I'm not good at making good films. All I have is identity politics. Explains a lot, doesn't it? Ah, this is dreadful. It has just got to evolve. And the important thing is that the film treats the woman properly. It doesn't have to. He needs to be true to his character. And how do you, first of all, how do you don't know his character. If you knew his character, you wouldn't be relying on identity politics. Second of all, people don't treat women properly. People treat people according to who the people are as an individual. Your femininity has nothing to do with whether you deserve to be treated properly or not. It shows how skewed and shit your mindset is. Lashana Lynch is no stranger to films which bring much needed female representation to male-dominated franchises. Just because your main character is male doesn't mean it's male-dominated. There are plenty of female characters in it too. And we're the bigots. Earlier this year, she starred alongside Alison Brie in the MCU's record-breaking box office smash, Captain Marvel, as Mira Rambeau, however how you pronounce her name. Moral of the story is, don't waste your money. I know it's going to be bad. Daniel Craig was only doing this for the money. Lashana Lynch is probably doing exactly the same thing, if she's smart as well. They are literally hiring people on the basis of identity politics being the main focus because their writing techniques are just not good. And don't send hate to Lashana Lynch because she's just a puppet at the moment. She's been paid, probably going to be paid hundreds of thousands, if not millions of pounds or dollars or whatever currency you want to talk about to fill this role. She's just an actress. Don't pester her. She's not the one pushing identity politics. She's a figurehead who's been paid and has signed an NDA, so she has to say certain things. It's not her fault. But you know who's at fault here. The higher-ups, especially Phoebe Waller-Bridge, and the people who actually brought her in the first place because they realised they don't know how to write, and they're essentially stabbing the 007 corpse right now. They're at fault, not the actors and the actresses involved. The difference is at least Grace Jones had a bit more balls to rebel. I mean, Grace Jones, despite also being a black woman, has more money. So, I mean, she doesn't need this role. And plus it was a cameo, so that explains a lot. She has a bit more pride or integrity, so I guess she can afford to just turn down this dumpster fire, right? I'm avoiding Bond 25 like the plague. I'm so not bothering with it. And I guess I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.